Hey everyone, this is Shelly Hitz, and I'm so excited that you're joining us for this webinar. And I actually have my little remote control because I'm standing, I'm excited, I love this topic, and I'm passionate to help you see results and get, to sell more books. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move over to screen share so I can share my PowerPoint, and then we're going to dive right in because it's the top of the hour. So welcome those of you that are still logging on. Introduce yourself in the chat and share the one book that you really want to focus on during this webinar to sell more books. So welcome to the webinar. My name is Shelly Hitz, and in this webinar, we're going to cover how to sell more books. Now, how many of you want to sell more books? Say yes in the chat. Yes, I want to sell more books. I'm going to be sharing 5 keys to book marketing success. And I'm going to have to go fast because I have a lot of content to share with you. And I want to let you know, if you stay till the end, you're going to get a copy of my book, 9 Strategies to Build and Grow Your Author Platform. And you're also going to get a handout with 27 promotional activities, as well as a handout for setting up a book marketing calendar. So you definitely want to stay to the end and get those handouts. Now, when it comes to marketing, we all start somewhere. Now, are you a beginner, or do you feel like you're intermediate or more advanced with marketing? Post that in the comments in the chat. But we all start somewhere, right? Some of us are very, very, very beginners, and some of us have been doing this for a long time. I've been doing internet marketing for over 10 years, so I've been doing this for a long time, but I'm still always learning something new every day. But it reminds me of children, and these are my nieces. My husband and I haven't been able to have children, but we have nieces that we love and adore. And in this picture, my oldest niece on the left-hand side, Lauren, was 3.5 years old. And we loved to play, and at the time we built this tent. We were under the tent, and we were playing pretend. And somehow we had a flashlight in there, so I started to pretend that I was a doctor, and I was evaluating her throat. And I said, Lauren, I can see you have tonsillitis. So it was her turn. And she came over to me and she goes, Aunt Shelly, I can see, or she says, I can see you have diarrhea. And we just laughed and laughed. Here's this 3-year-old. And, she's just learning vocabulary. She's learning what's appropriate. She's learning what is, good and what's not. And that was the thing she knew that, I could maybe have. And so, sometimes we may feel the same way about book marketing. We may feel like we might not say the right thing. We might embarrass ourselves. We might press the wrong button. How many have ever felt that way? That you might, press the wrong button online and do something that embarrasses yourself. But I want to encourage you that we all have to start somewhere. And just like children learn and grow, and they learn their vocabulary, they learn what's appropriate and not appropriate, we all can continue to learn every day. And my goal on this webinar is that you learn something new, that you have something that you take away from this and you can apply. So get out your pen and paper or your iPad or wherever you take notes, and be prepared to take some notes. Because today I'm going to share with you some of the foundations of book marketing I wish I would have known when I first started. So you're in the right place if you're an author with a published book and you want to save time on marketing so you can spend more time writing. How many of you want to spend more time writing? I hear that all the time. Authors are like, yes, I don't want to have to market so much. I want to spend more time writing. You want to sell more books, and you want to sell more books. So obviously this particular training, this particular webinar is about selling books. So just a little bit about me, if you don't know me yet, or if you've been following me and you don't know these details. I've been married 16 years to my husband, CJ. Like I mentioned, we have not been able to have children, but we have, been doing so many things in these 16 years, and I've actually traveled to over 10 countries. My husband and I lived in Belize, Central America for 2 years as missionaries. I've experienced both success and failure. And so, I have, really seen a lot of success, but I've also seen a lot of failure. We have paid off over $150,000 in debt, and that's not including a mortgage. That's consumer debt. Those of you that have been in debt before know the strangling feeling that it is to be in that much debt. And I'm so thankful that we've been able to pay that off. I'm the owner of trainingauthors.com, as well as my new program, Author Audience Academy. And so why should you listen to me? Well, like I mentioned, I've been earning income online. I've been doing internet marketing since 2004. This is now my full-time job. In 2011, I took the big leap and I quit my job as a physical therapist of 12 years, and I gave up that regular paycheck to work full-time in our business. It was not easy. It was like one of the hardest things I've ever done, but I'm so thankful I took that step. And since 2008, I've published over 35 Amazon best-selling books, and I've actually sold books. I actually went through all of my accounts and added them up last fall, and as of last fall, I had sold over 103,000 books, and our books on Kindle had been downloaded for free over 500,000 times. So I've had some success in marketing. I'm not just teaching theory, I'm teaching from what I've actually done. So what we'll cover today is why it's important to transform the way you think of marketing, how to set up your marketing efforts for success using the one thing that increased my book sales 9,800%, which I know that sounds like a lot, but it really truly happened. The key strategies to use when setting up your book marketing plan and why you don't want to skip this part. So many authors want to skip this part, and I encourage you not to skip it. And then you're going to discover 27 of the most powerful marketing tactics you can add to your 30-day marketing calendar, and how to track your success in book sales. So these are the 5 things we're going to cover. It's a lot of content. I'm going to just give you as much as I can, and I do want to answer your questions. So as the webinar is going, please post your questions in the chat box. Beth Jones is here moderating for me, and she will copy and paste those questions for me, and she'll send any to me immediately that need clarification, because I get so excited and I get so into my content. It's hard for me to manage the chat and to do the presentation at the same time, but we'll have a chance at the end, and I plan to stay on as long as I need to answer your questions. So definitely start writing down your questions and send them in the chat to Beth, and she will get those to me whether at the time or at the end. But I also want you to interact with us throughout the webinar. So I want you to write in the chat box right now, what is holding you back? Share in the chat box your biggest question, concern, or roadblock about book marketing and selling books. What is holding you back? What is that thing that is just you feel like is a barrier for you? A lot of times it may be a lack of time, or you feel that you have a lack of time, or maybe it's knowledge, or maybe it's something else. Maybe there's a specific thing for you that's holding you back. Go ahead and post that in the chat box of something that is holding you back with your book marketing right now. I think for me, sometimes it is focus. I am the typical entrepreneur, and I am always having a million different ideas. And it's hard for me to stay focused long enough on one book to really see the momentum going. And because I have over 35 books, and then my husband we have over 50 with our publishing company, it's so easy for me to get distracted. So I'm hearing a sense of being overwhelmed from Joanne. That is so true. And that's a little bit of what I have felt at times too. Someone says the time it takes is holding me back. And Jennifer says, I have 2, time and money. And, she says, someone else says, I don't know what I'm doing marketing wise, and that's one, just very new at marketing, Beth says. Carrie says, I have a book that is popular and sells once people know about it, but I don't know where to go to promote on the cheap. I don't have the money to spend to promote, and it's a niche nonfiction book. So there's a ton of people talking about what is holding you back, and those are all common things. And what I hope today is to help you overcome some of those obstacles. Some of the biggest obstacles, I think most of us would agree, are in our own minds. And sometimes it's doubt. It's, will anyone actually want to read my book? Fear, what if I do these things and invest this time and money and nothing happens? And so sometimes it's our own mental, stuff inside that's holding us back. And I just love to see authors take action and get results. That is my most favorite thing. And so I totally want to help you overcome some of these barriers. Like I said, at the end of the webinar, where I'm going to give you a link to download these gifts. It's a free ebook, 9 strategies to build and grow your author platform, plus the worksheet with the 27 promotional activities and a PDF calendar with 30 days on it that you can start filling in your activities right away. So wait, stay till the end so you can download those gifts. So let's get started. I want you to write in the chat box, what do you think of when you hear the word marketing? What's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear marketing? And, for some of you, it may be, like marketing. I don't want to do it. I just want to write. Some of you, it may, you may think promotion or self-promotion. What are some of the things that you think of when you hear the word marketing? Now, if you're like a lot of people, one of the things that you may think of when you hear marketing is you may think of a used sales car person, where you have to be pushy and self-promotional. But that is not necessarily the truth. Yeah, so someone's saying marketing equals hard work. Melissa, yeah. James is saying selling, frowny face. Joanne, how to sell. And, building a reputable reputation, quality of work. Someone says work. Oh, Penelope says anxiety. Yes, so we have all of these thoughts about marketing. And you know what? Sometimes when we just see this big, thing that either feels overwhelming or it feels like work or it gives us anxiety, guess what happens? We won't do it. We'll avoid it. It'll give us reasons to procrastinate, to put it off because we have these negative emotions around it. And so I want to encourage you this morning, the very first thing in order to have success is to change the way we see marketing, change the way we think about marketing, because if we think about it as this big negative thing or this, just a ton of work or whatever it is, we're going to dread it. And when we dread something, we tend to put it off. So this is what most people think of when they think of marketing. Buy my book, buy my book. Standing on the corner saying, here's my book, get it. And it's like having a banner advertisement. It's like, just shouting out to anyone who's going down the street. Now, this man may have a little bit of success. There may be 1 or 2 people that comes up to him and is interested in what he's talking about. But for the most part, what is the reaction going to be to the person that is doing this? Most of the time, people are either going to ignore them, or they're going to keep walking by, or they're going to be annoyed. Like, you're interrupting me. I was having a peaceful walk, with my music, and, you're interrupting me. And a lot of people see marketing as this. Pushy, self-promotional, work, get out, and you have to and sometimes, you do have to do stuff outside of your comfort zone, definitely. If you follow me on Facebook, you'll see I recently talked about that. Definitely find me. That's where I spend the most time, facebook.com/Shelly Hits. Friend me up there and let me know that you've connected with me from the webinar. But yes, a lot of people, think of it this way, but what if you think about marketing like this? Like having a conversation with a friend in your home over a cup of coffee. And what if you saw it as relationships? That marketing equals relationships, building relationships with people so they grow to know, like, and trust you. And it's the basis of this is what I call permission marketing. And I talk about this in my book, Build and Grow Your Author Platform. So when you get that bonus at the end, you'll be able to read more about it. But permission marketing is the basis is a lot of times through an email subscriber list. So a lot of you are on my list and you signed up for my email list. And when you did that, it's like I'm inviting you into my home. You're knocking on my door saying, I'm interested in what you have. I'm opening the door, inviting you in to my space. And now you've given me permission to talk to you, to share with you, to market to you. And obviously you want to not just push your products, you want it to be a relationship. You want to offer incredible value. You want to offer something that's very helpful to them. And you want it to be a two-way relationship. Social media, the same way. People are, friending you or liking your page or coming and following you on Twitter, and they've given you permission to interact with them and to share with them. And so it's a complete difference. When we start changing the way we see marketing, instead of seeing it pushy, self-promotional, work, if we see it as relationships, whether you're introverted or extroverted, introverts still long for relationships. They're more one-on-one, and it's a little bit different. Extroverts, I'm an extrovert, so I'm out there, and the way you do marketing is going to be different than the way I do marketing, but we can all connect in relationships with our audience. And when we do that, it is powerful. And so I like to use the illustration that marketing is kind of like having a baby. Although I've not had a baby, I was in the delivery room when my sister had her first, and it was amazing. But a lot of people think about the process of writing the book, editing the book, getting the book cover, getting it published, all of that as the main work of being an author. However, that's just the 9 months of being pregnant. Once you give birth to that book, anyone who's a parent will say, parenting continues for the rest of your life. And that's so true with even birthing a book. There's marketing that will continue for the rest, the duration of the time that you have that book. And you don't have to think of it like as a dread, but think of it as, I want to be able to reach more people with my message. If you believe in your book, if you believe in the topic, if you believe in the content, then you'll want to be able to share that with more people. You'll have a desire and a drive to do that. And so that marketing, just like a parent has a drive to help, love and nurture their child, they're not going to leave them abandoned. There are some people that do that, but typically, parents will care for their child, until they graduate, move on. And even after that, my mom still helps me. And, I'm sometimes just like, I need to talk to my mom. But I want to share with you the one thing I did to increase my book sales 9,800%. And this was early on. We only had a few books at this time, and primarily our books were for our speaking engagements. And we had them at our speaking engagements so that we could offer resources to those who came to hear us speak. So I was a speaker before I was an author. And the one thing that we ended up doing to increase our book sales was actually creating a book marketing plan. Before, we were just doing everything like here and there, and I had a lot of marketing experience, but I didn't actually put together a plan for one specific book. And our book, Forgiveness Formula, we ended up creating a plan for a book launch. And we had several different things that we planned out over the course of 4 months. Now, I will definitely admit to you, I did not do everything that we actually planned, but we did a majority of those things. And by doing that, we went from selling maybe one book a month to selling over 300 books in, that month that we had that book launch. And we've continued to sell that book. And it was because we set a specific plan. I know a lot of you, especially like if you're just, more of a fly by the seat of your pants type person, you don't like a plan and you don't want to do it. But I will tell you, having that focus, having that plan will focus then your energies to where it needs to be, and it will get you to an end result that will be so much better than if you just haphazardly go through your marketing. And so it was setting up that plan. And I'm going to be talking a little bit more about what I specifically recommend you do after I share my 27 promotional activities, and so that you can get an idea of how you can get started right away. I love this quote. It says, "A goal without a plan is just a wish." So I want to ask you this morning, when you say you want to sell more books, and I assume everyone on this webinar wants to sell more books because you're here, is it just a wish, or is it actually a goal? Because without a plan, that desire of yours is just a wish. It's just hoping. when you actually put together a plan, then you can have a goal. Yes, I want to sell more books. I want to sell X number of books, by this time. And you don't have to be that specific. But so I just want to ask you today, do you actually have a goal, or is it just a wish? When I think about marketing, an illustration that helps me is the illustration of building a house. I'm a very visual person, and when I think of in illustrations, it helps me. And so when you think about marketing, the very first thing that you need when you build a house, and the very first thing you need when you're doing marketing, is the blueprint, the plan. If somebody tries to build a house without that blueprint, things are going to go crazy. They're going to have the electricity in the wrong place. The plumbing isn't maybe going to go to the right bathroom. And it's going to be crazy because they need to have that plan. And you don't have to have a strict plan, but to have some direction on what you're going to do and where you're going to go. Once you have that blueprint, when you're building a house, you need to have the foundation. And your foundation in marketing is your author platform. So I like to call it the promotion pyramid, because there's three main things of your author platform: your author website or blog, your email subscriber list, and your social media platforms. I only recommend you do 1 or 2 social media platforms and do them really well. I teach marketing, so I'm everywhere. But it gets overwhelming if you try to do everything. So that's your foundation, is your author platform. Then you start, seeing the walls come up on a house. You start building. That's your promotional activities. As you're starting to get reviews on your book, you're starting to get some buzz. You're getting your book on Goodreads. You're doing stuff. And once it's finished, that's move-in day. And you still have work to continue to do. Like when you move into a house, you still have projects, you still have upkeep, you still have stuff, yard work. And so there's things that you're going to continually need to be doing to keep up and to maintain and to market your book. And we have a rental house back in Ohio. I live in Colorado Springs, and we just found out we have to repair some plumbing in that house. And so no matter what type of house that you have, there's going to be ongoing projects, and the same thing with marketing. So I want you to think about it as a 4-stage process: the blueprint, the foundation, the building of the house, and then move-in day. And if you guys do not have this training yet, this is what this presentation is built around. It's called Building a Book Marketing Plan, and it's free. You get templates, you get Excel spreadsheets. I mean, you guys get a ton of information. So if you don't have that yet, definitely go there and download it, because within that free training that we offer, you're going to get this Word document. It's a marketing profile. And this is one of the things that I see a lot of authors skipping. And I highly recommend that you don't. I highly recommend you take the time to go through each step of this book marketing profile. I was recently at BEPA in San Francisco, and I was giving a full day workshop. So I did this presentation, and then the afternoon was workshop style. We actually went through this marketing profile. We actually went through a bunch of stuff, and people wrote out their things, and people shared, and they were just so excited. And they said, Shelly, I finally feel like I've gotten some progress. I got some work done. And they had their calendar planned out. But part of it was sitting down and taking the time to fill out this book marketing profiles. Set your timer for 30 minutes and just do it. Just do it. So it's gonna address your target audience, your goals, and your message. And if you need help doing that, if you have a budget for it, I am available to do some coaching and a strategy call with you. The other thing I recommend that you do is an author assessment. This was something that I did not do in the beginning. And, I just recently went through a transition, and some of you have watched me. I'm launching a new brand at shellyhitz.com, and it's because I did this author assessment. I assessed my strengths, and there's a great book I recommend, Strength Finder 2.0. I bought the Kindle version, and it came with a free code to take their test. And then you can take their test and you can see what are your top strengths. I found my top strengths are communication. Well, duh, it's like I've written all these books, I speak, I do all these things. But you know what I've been doing? And then also one of my top strengths is networking and connecting with people face to face. But you know what I've been doing since I quit my job 3.5 years ago? I've been sitting behind a computer That does not fit my strengths. My strengths are face to face or doing webinars like this, speaking, sharing, connecting with people. And so when I started to realize that, I was like, this light bulb went off. I'm like, I need to do more videos, more webinars, more speaking, more networking events. That is what is my sweet spot. But your sweet spot could be completely different. Your sweet spot could be behind the computer, writing. Writing might be your number one strength. The person that I've worked with for years, Heather Hart, her strength is writing. So we have different strengths, and she does an amazing job at that. But her strengths are more of that behind the scenes, writing and behind the computer. But also, what is it you enjoy? Like I said earlier, if you dread something, if you dread marketing, you're going to avoid it most of the time. And so if you pick activities and if you know the things that you really enjoy, for me, I actually can record a video and get it up in a few minutes. Like I can do usually 1 or 2 takes just because, it's my strength and it's what I enjoy. And if you follow me, like I said, on Facebook or on YouTube, you'll see I've been posting more videos lately. But it's what I enjoy. What is it that you enjoy? And then your resources. What do you have as far as time and money? The other mistake I see authors making is that they are doing things that they don't have the time for or the budget for. They're trying to bite off more than they can chew. You get really ambitious, you get really excited, but then it's like you get discouraged because you just have a busy life. You're working full time, you have a family, you have community obligations, and then your big grandiose plan falls to the wayside. I do this full time, so I have more time to spend. I don't have children at home, so I have more time to spend. What is the time you have to spend? Be realistic. If it's 30 minutes a day or if it's 1 hour a week, be realistic and write that down. So right now, I want you to take out your pad and paper and just write down a few of your strengths, write down what you enjoy, and I want you definitely to write down how much time do you have a week to devote to marketing, because this is going to be very important when we choose the activities later. And then if you have a budget, do you have a budget for marketing? I always recommend that authors reinvest a portion of their royalties back into marketing. Some people recommend 10%. In the beginning, I invested almost, I think, 100% of my royalties back into my business and marketing. And so, know what your time is, your resources, your strengths, what you enjoy. Another great resource that I really like for knowing your strengths is How the World Sees You by Sally Hogshead. And it's a great book to also she has an assessment as well. And, you can take that and it just gives you an idea if you're just not sure, or ask people. When I was first going through this, I asked my husband, what do you see as my greatest strength? I asked my family, what do you see? So ask your family and, really know, like, where is your sweet spot? Because that, you obviously need to do things outside of that too. I have to do things I don't enjoy. But if you spend a majority of your time doing the things that you enjoy, that you're good at, that are your strengths, you're going to have more success. And so the foundation of marketing, like I said, is your author platform, but really it comes down to having a quality book. That is the first step. And so publishing, editing, cover design, back cover copy, all of that work together towards or against your marketing efforts. And I know that should be just assumed, but I have to say that. I have evaluated a lot of author platforms over the years, and whether it's in coaching or if I'm just looking at what they're doing. And I see a lot of times that the author doesn't either have a professionally designed cover, and that puts people off right away. Definitely, even if you need to update it, if you've already published it, spend a little bit your initial marketing money into a book cover, because you will get better conversions, and people will be choosing to buy your book more often if you have a really, really good cover. And then the editing, a quick story. My book that I co-authored with Heather Hart, Teen Devotionals for Girls, was selling really, 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 really well for a while. It was one of the only books in that niche for a while. Now there's a ton of books available in that topic, in that niche. But what happened, we had the book edited, we had everything done, and Yet there was a mistake in the table of contents in the look inside preview. There was a mistake in that. And so, whatever you do, double, triple check that beginning part of your book. That's going to be the look inside. We got a bad review saying if there's a mistake in the table of contents, that's probably not a very well edited book, And our sales went down after that. You get one bad review and people see that and they're like, oh, and we corrected it. I replied to the review. You can't take that review away. It's there. And so whether it was due to a ton of other books being published in that niche, or, I really do believe that review, that negative review, had an impact. So make sure your book is edited, and especially that beginning portion, that look inside portion, make sure that you've double, triple, quadruple checked everything. And then I also encourage authors to start thinking beyond the book and what other products and services you can offer. And that's one of the reasons I started Author Audience Academy, is because I see so many authors depending on book royalties for their income, when really it's hard to make a full-time income on book royalties alone. I don't. I mean, it's a large portion of my income. In some months, it does cover all of my bills. But if I didn't have my other streams of income, there would be months that would be tough, because as we know, book sales go up and down. And so it's really important to have, several different streams of income, that you are not just depending on your book royalties. So let's get into the meat of the 27 promotional activities to sell more books. Get out your pen and paper, get out your note-taking device. And what I want you to do while I go through these activities, I want you to write down the activities that interest you. They fit your strengths, they fit, something that you would enjoy. And I've had authors, when I'm doing this live, some of them will say, I don't enjoy any of the marketing. Well, even if, what do you enjoy the most? You may not love any of it, but what do you enjoy more? And focus on that. So as I'm going through these activities, I want you to start writing out the different things that you could see yourself doing. The first part of this is ongoing activities. So we're gonna cover ongoing activities, things that you can continue to do ongoing and over. And then we're going to cover one-time activities. So that's how I differentiate it, because there are tons of different things you can do for marketing your book. And some of them are things that are just ongoing and things that you should be doing, once you choose that, on an ongoing basis. And then some are just that shot in the arm. It boosts your sales, and then like a book launch, So the first thing we're going to talk about is ongoing activities. This is your website and blog. Have you or will you create a website or blog to be the hub of your internet marketing efforts? I highly recommend every author at least have a website to be like a landing page for you. People are searching for you. They're searching for your name, your book, or they will be. And I encourage you to go to Google, search your name, search your book, see what comes up, and see if it's your site. It should be your site. It should be your stuff. It should be your guest posts, your interviews, those types of things. And a coach asked me to do that, and it kind of surprised me. I was like, oh, I thought so much more would come up. And so I've definitely been working on that. But, I recommend everyone at least have a website. But some of you may want to do blogging. You may want to have your blogging be your ongoing activity. You can do writing. If you're really, really good at writing might come really easily, and you can have, write things on your blog. Or what I plan to do is I plan to, embed my videos, maybe with a transcript, maybe it's just a couple paragraphs. You can see jeffwalker.com. He does that with his videos. He just shoots a video and then he puts it on his blog and he emails his list. Hey, I have this content. It's really good content, but it doesn't take him a million years to finish it. And he's really good at video. So I may do that. If you have a podcast, your main focus could be the podcast on your blog. So I have colleagues, Shane and Jocelyn Sams from flippedlifestyle.com, and their blog are their podcasts. They don't do a ton of other things. They just focus on the podcast, and then they put that same information on their blog. So it doesn't have to be difficult. You want to have focus. You want to choose something and then be focused on that. Email marketing. I recommend all authors have this. And I know for some reason, so many authors resist it. I think it's because a lot of the email subscriber services have a monthly fee. But, you know, this is something that I just really believe you can't ignore. You need to have this, to have that permission marketing, to invite people into your space. MailChimp, you can sign up for free for the first 2,000 subscribers. And then once you grow, like the service I'm using right now, GetResponse, they allow you to import lists. So if you grow and you get to that 2,000, then you can import it into a paid service like GetResponse. It's one of the cheapest that you'll find for the features it has. And then you can start using autoresponders and automating your marketing. So I could talk all day just about blogging or all day just about email marketing, but I have to get through my list. So I'm going to be going through these. Now, the next one, I've broken up social media into a couple different categories. This category are promotional tweets and posts. So these are actually ones that you're offering, you know, a link to your book. You're telling people you have a book for sale. And this is what a lot of authors do. They, you know, here's my book. I'm excited about my book. Here's my book. Buy my book. And you definitely need to have an offer. You definitely need to share your book. But one of the things that you need to do is, you know, intersperse it with other things. So I just got a question from Beth, and she says, will the webinar be an hour long? It will be an hour. I'm hoping it may go longer, you know, at the end we have questions and everything like that. So I'm hoping to get it all in an hour. You know, but, you know, definitely you need to have some of these posts. And I recommend having an evergreen list. So you have a list where you have evergreen posts about your books, all your different books, and then you can reuse those. And, you know, not having those promotional ones all the time, but definitely interspersing them in your marketing. So number 4 is videos, creating a book trailer, an author video to announce your or market your book, or tutorial videos. And the next one is article submissions. And there's actually places you can submit articles and get paid, but then you still have your author bio at the end that can promote your book. Quotes and photos. So you can share quotes from your book or from other experts in your niche. And you can share them on Twitter, pin on Pinterest, or share on Facebook. And I do this a lot. I use the WordSwag app. It's only available on the iPhone or the iPad, but you can also use canva.com. It's a free resource, and you can create these quotes. But did you know you can also go on Goodreads? They have a section just for quotes. So you can take your most powerful quotes from your book and you can add them to Goodreads, and then potentially get exposure to all of the readers. That's a social network for readers on Goodreads. So that's something you can do with your quotes. Marketing report. You can have a free, valuable PDF advertising your book that people can download and share. When I first started my website for authors, I had a PDF, 200 plus free book marketing tools for authors. And I uploaded this to all the PDF sharing sites. I uploaded it, you know, everywhere. I gave my affiliates, you know, rebrandable reports, and I had this report everywhere, and it was primarily to build my list. But you can also do this to sell your book, and you can just upload it everywhere and have it to be really good, valuable content, and then that people want to know more. Networking. This is always something that is powerful. And again, whether you're introverted or extroverted, you can be networking online within Facebook groups, within LinkedIn groups, within Google Plus communities, finding people, interacting with them, commenting, offering value, and then they'll want to know more. Oh, she really knows what she's talking about in this niche, or, you know, she's really helpful, or wow, I really like her. She's written a fiction book. I wonder what it's about. Speaking engagements. And speaking is one of the things that one of the number one ways you can sell print books, because once someone hears you speak, whether it's a fiction author doing a, you know, talk at a library, or I also heard of fiction authors doing Skype, you know, meet the author for a book club. And that's really powerful for book clubs. And then book clubs will buy a bunch of your books for, you know, all the people will buy your book, and then you can come and meet them via Skype. And so that's a great way to sell books. For nonfiction authors, definitely there's so many opportunities to do free speaking engagements in your community and to then be able to sell books at the back of the room. Local marketing. is, just taking your marketing efforts off the internet. So I really have an expertise in online marketing, but I'm starting to do a lot more offline stuff as well. And that is a great way. My husband and I, we approached a coffee shop, and they, put some of our books for sale there for a while. You could have, a business card with your book cover on one side and information on how to get an excerpt to sign up for your email list, or if, whatever you offer on your free email list on the back. If you have a fashion book, you could do that in beauty salons. So there's so many different things you can do. Paper trail. Now this is business cards, bookmarks, flyers, and posters. And they can, when used right, they can gain your book attention when people are out living in the real world, and they can leave a lasting impression. But before you spend a ton of money in this stuff, definitely test it in a smaller market, see how it goes, see how it's received, and go from there. All right, so that was the ongoing activities. So what I recommend is you choose one ongoing activity. So whether it's video marketing, whether it's blogging, whether it's email marketing, local marketing, and really choose to focus on that one thing over the next 30 days. So go ahead and put in the chat box what one ongoing activity you would like to focus on for the next 30 days. Now, that doesn't mean you can't do the other things later on, but I just want you to focus on one thing at a time. If you get your email list set up and you get it running, it will run on its own, and then you can start focusing on something else, or driving traffic to that email list. And so, put in the chats, what was the one thing you're going to do as far as an ongoing activity. And now let's go into the one-time activities. The one-time activities are things that you'll just do one time. Testimonies, endorsements. So getting well-known people to talk about, read, or endorse your book is a great way to show its value. If you have a well-known fiction author say this book is a must-read, guess what? Their entire audience is going to be interested. And if you get a really well-known person in your niche that gives you an endorsement, that can go a long way. You can use that on social media. You can use that on your book sales page. I mean, there's so many ways you can use that. And then I recommend that every author have a sales page on your website for your book. So instead of just always, linking to Amazon, you can have a sales page, and it has a lot of the same information as your book cover, your book description, and then you give all the links of where they can buy. And you may even set up something where they can buy the ebook version from you, or they buy an autographed copy from you. And what this does is it gets them to your website. Maybe they're searching for your book online and your website comes up, and then they come to your website and they sign up for your email list. Amazon does not give us an email list of our buyers. So, it's just another way to increase, information about your book. A fact sheet. Fact sheets are a great piece of information, a paper that you can reference yourself or pass out to those who inquire about your book. They present the facts in a very straightforward manner. Bonuses. Are you going to offer any bonuses to those who purchase your group? Maybe a small group guide, a video, website access. When I first published my book, Marketing Your Book on Amazon, back in 2012, I offered, and I still offer, a bonus 27-minute bonus tutorial video. And when you get to the end of the book, there's a link. It's an unlisted YouTube video. And, if there's two books on Amazon and they're both about the same price, both about the same information, and one contains a bonus video tutorial, I probably am going to get the one that has the video tutorial. So think about things that you can do to set yourself apart from the competition and to give more value to your book. Extra first month bonuses. So I love doing this. So if you buy, during my launch, you'll get extra bonuses. And a lot of you have done that before. Definitely optimizing Amazon. Choosing the right categories and keywords can really help you get more visibility on Amazon. And that's one activity that you can do. Paid advertising. And I'm trying to go through these a little bit faster. I could talk for hours on all of this, but I want to get through our content. Paid advertising, two of the most popular places to advertise your book are BookBub and eReader News Today. I did hear recently an author say eReader News Today didn't yield as many results as they had hoped recently. And I have started using, I think it's Buck Books, and they have really, I've sold a lot of books through their promotions. So those are just a few ideas. I do want to caution you on advertising, because if you advertise with a website, sometimes you may not get very good results. You can get exposure, but make sure you check and, find out what are their results. What are, other authors getting when they advertise there before you spend your money. Otherwise, you may not get a good return on investment. You can do a blog tour. It's where you're guest posting on a series of other blogs, and it helps get the word out about your book, and it is permanent. Those blogs will be up there. As long as those bloggers have maintained their site, it'll be there for Google and for other people to find out about you and your book. So hopefully all of you have done this, but when your book comes out, you can just write a simple announcement to share on your blog and or your email list. But it's amazing how many times either authors are shy about it, or you don't want to push or whatever. But some authors are on the spectrum where they're always saying, buy my book, buy my book, buy my book. But then there's authors on the other spectrum that you don't even know they have a book. So make sure that you at least do an announcement. And press release. Writing a professional press release is a great way to make connections with the press. You can get sales interviews and spotlights from a well-written press release, but I do want to caution you, if you're just using like the free press releases and you're doing that, you do get the links back from those sites if they allow links, and you do get the content. But unless you have a really, really good hook and a reason that reporters really are interested in your book, or a niche that's really different, it may not do much. I think it was Christian Newswire I think I used for one of my Christian books, and it was a book in a very small niche, a very different thing, and I ended up getting on a major television news. I got interviewed. They came to Colorado Springs, videoed me and my husband, and I got interviewed. I got some major press for that, but I tried it again on another topic and got nothing. So it just depends. A media kit. You can combine your press release, fact sheet, and other marketing materials to distribute to the media. So let's say this month you're focusing on a press release, and then next month you're focusing on a fact sheet. Well, then the next month you could focus on combining all of that stuff into a media kit. So you have those to distribute. And I recommend reaching out to your local media. People love local authors, and it's like, you become a star in your own local area, whether it's the TV, the radio, and whatever you have locally, start there. The newspaper, and then a media room. I recently added a media room, and it has all the links to my interviews online, some of my, bigger guest blog posts, the speaking engagements I've done, and that sort of thing. And then you can register with websites. So there are tons and tons of websites that will let you register your book for free. Now, this sometimes can seem like a waste of time depending on the site. But if you just do one a week, and you never know who's going to come across it, who's going to find it, I wouldn't put all of your hopes into, these free book submission sites, but I definitely recommend, considering it and, investing a little bit of time to do it if you have the ability to do that. Book reviews. Book reviews sell books. So asking readers to post reviews on their blog and or Amazon can help boost sales. When I go to a book sales page and there are no reviews, it's like a ghost town. And so definitely, working on getting those first initial, like I usually try to get at least 10 book reviews and then go from there. You can also contact bookstores. We have a really, really cool bookstore up in Denver, and they definitely promote local authors. So, like if you have a bookstore like that, you can talk to them about doing a book signing or getting in with them or having them stock your book, doing something special with them. And then finally, the 27th is other print-on-demand marketing materials. Designing material that can be printed on demand to help market your book is a win. You can design anything from coffee cups to book bags. And then, people might post their picture. If you give it out as a prize, they might post their picture on Facebook with the mug, with your name and book or whatever you're have on there, or they may wear the t-shirt around and like, oh, what's that? Oh, this is a book I really liked, and that sort of thing. So I want you to write down the one-time activity. We've covered a lot, and I know at this point you're feeling overwhelmed. But what I want you to do is I want you to pick one ongoing activity and one-time promotional activity right now. Write it down. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to, don't think about it too much. Just pick something right now. And if you're willing, post it in the comments and share with us what you picked. And, I want you to focus. I want you to focus on one-time activity and one ongoing activity because, but I wanted to give you a range of ideas because we all have different gifts. We all have different personalities. We all have different sweet spots, but a goal is a dream with a deadline. So now once you've picked those two things, commit it to your calendar. Decide, okay, I have 1 hour per week to market my book. I'm going to do blogging. So in that hour, I'm going to write a blog post, or I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and write it out on your calendar, just like you would a doctor's appointment or, something like that, because so many times it gets shoved to the side. It is time to make your move. It is time to take action. And this is what I love the most. And I want you to tell me, in this next month, as you take action, come and find me on Facebook or email me and let me know what you're doing to take action. When you take action, then you can start tracking your success. A lot of us are blind when it comes to our sales and what's working, what's not. You need to know, like if you do a promotion, is it working or is it not? So if you're doing 10 things, it's hard to know what made the difference. Whereas if you're doing one thing, you're like, oh man, that guest post really increased my sales. And you can know. So you can track book sales, rankings, promotional results, and followers or email subscribers on your author platform. And in our free book marketing plan training, we offer this Excel spreadsheet you can use. Now, I do caution you, it's easy to get caught up in the ups and the downs of book sales. It's easy to get caught in the things that, it's just going to happen. So don't get obsessed about rankings and sales. I've been there. It's addicting. I know, but it can really take your emotions on a ride too, especially if you're a more emotional person like I am. So once you do that, over the next 30 days, you pick one ongoing, one time, and then you commit it to your calendar, you take action, you track it, then guess what? You rinse and repeat. And then you can take a month off. Like, if you have a really busy month, 1 month, you don't have to plan something every single month, but I recommend that you do, choose another activity or continue on with your blogging. If you're seeing good results, make that, continue on with that one-time activity, but continue to rinse and repeat. And of course, keep writing. Your books help promote your other books because hopefully you have links to your other books within that book. And then Amazon will say customers who bought this also bought this, and they'll do some advertising for you as well. So I hope that you have gained a ton of information. You've taken a ton of notes. We've talked about why it's important to transform the way you think of marketing, how to set up your marketing efforts for success using the one thing that increased my book sales, and that was setting up a book marketing plan. The key strategies when setting up your book marketing plan, that's, doing your marketing profile, your author profile. And then we covered 27 of the most powerful marketing tactics you can add to your 30-day marketing calendar today. And I only want you to choose one ongoing and one-time activity. And so we also talked about tracking your success. Whew, we covered a lot of information. And the ultimate question I have for you is, how hungry are you? I had an author actually say this to me when I was at a recent speaking engagement. And I said, I love that. I'm putting that in my presentation. How hungry are you? Are you willing to do whatever it takes? Because this is not just wish and just do a couple things and then Amazon's going to take over. Now, I did have one book that happened and it just sold like crazy for a while. But a lot of times book marketing does take effort. It does take time and work. So are you willing to do whatever it takes? And if not now, when? When are you going to devote some time to getting the message out, to building an audience that knows, likes, and trusts you, that, that you are able to, connect with people and be able to get your message to more people by selling more books? Book marketing, however, is not a marathon, or is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And I've actually finished 3 half marathons. I'm not an athlete. I'm not good at it. My husband, though, is very, very good at running. He's an elite runner, and he's won money at races, and he's sponsored. My husband coached me through every single one of these races, and he knew exactly, what I should do when I was training, what week I should do what. And not only did I finish every single time, I beat my goal. When I finished the ascent, it was a half marathon up Pikes Peak Mountain. And when I finished better than my biggest goal. I'd set 3 goals for myself. And it's because I had my husband there coaching me. I almost had a panic attack when I was training for the Pikes Peak Ascent, because I didn't think I was going to make it. You have to finish in a certain time, or you do not get your medal. You do not finish. You do not get your goal. And he would tell me, Shelly, you're going to do it. It's going to be okay. This, just keep doing your plan. Do this, do that. And so I had a coach helping me along the way. But I also had a plan, and the benefits of a plan are knowing where you're headed. There's less stress because you know what you're supposed to do at what time. And you get bigger results because you're focusing your efforts on one goal, and then knowing what works and what doesn't. So instead of doing a bunch of things and saying, okay, was it Twitter that did it? Was it Facebook? Was it this? Was it that? It was what it was. And it works. Recently I created a plan for my book, The Gratitude Journal, and I increased my paid sales by over 700%. And you can see I had a big spike, but then my sales stayed up. You can see I still, kept selling more books afterwards. And it earned me, just in, that month, it earned me $322.66 if, we say borrows are about $2. So, that was a significant increase because I set a plan. So I have an offer for you, and it's a way to work more with me as your coach to help you step by step through the process. Now, I believe no matter where you're at, you can take the content from this presentation and apply it immediately. You can do that, I believe. But I really encourage those of you that want to go a step further to consider joining the Sell More Books Challenge. You'll get 4 weeks of video training and take action worksheets. I am a take action person. I want you to see results, templates, and checklists, including the 11 challenge checklists using our proven system. So we actually write out all the steps, what the approximate time will be, and it's all written out for you. You don't have to figure it out and write it out yourself. You get lifetime access to our members area, and you get a private Facebook group. Those of you that know me, I am on Facebook a lot. So I'm available for questions, for, if you get stuck, post in the Facebook group and you'll be able to get my input, productivity coach software, and more. And so I just wanted to share a few of the things that are included in this training, and then we'll get into your bonus and a Q&A session. So in the introduction, we talk about your book marketing blueprint, knowing your target audience, building your brand, publishing a quality book, and then really important is planning your author platform. And I talk about 2 ways to sell more books, and it's a video with an interactive Word document with formulas. That's just the introduction. In the week 1, we talk about building a strong foundation, and you have, your videos, your MP3s, handouts, and our take action worksheet. So how to choose a book title that sells, optimizing Amazon for success, which is so important because you can really see improvements when you optimize Amazon with your categories and keywords. How to entice your audience with your book description, and then actually setting up your author platform. And then we have some bonuses on Hootsuite and using Amazon search suggestion features to find keywords. Week 2 is where you're building your house, you're getting honest reviews, you're posting your book, and we walk you through how to get it, on Goodreads and what we recommend. pricing your book for success, and then promoting your masterpiece, that initial promotion. Week 3 is move-in day. So this is where the rubber hits the road. And this is where you have all of our challenge checklists. You're going to choose your one-time promotional activity and your one ongoing promotional activity. And then you're going to fill in the calendar. And the calendar in the members area is actually a Word document. So you can actually type in that if you want. And then week 4 is the ongoing activities. And, maintenance after you move in. It's implementing your calendar, case studies, planning for the next year, and strategies for long-term success. And I love, like I said, I just love helping people. And our students are getting results. Alana Terry said she launched her second novel, went through the course, and had over 100% increase in sales compared with her first book. You just simply follow our system. All you need to do is follow our step-by-step blueprint we have set up for you. Just like when I followed my husband's training plan for me for the marathon, I know what it's like to do something that feels really, really hard. And I also know what it's like to cross that finish line and accomplish that goal. And then here's Robert. He said, it was obvious you cared about the learners, and we do care. Those of you that followed me, I care. I care about your success, and I will be there for you in the Facebook group and to help you step by step through the process. You'll also get our expanded tracking spreadsheet. And this spreadsheet, it took hours and hours to put together, but it just gives everything for you to track all your book sales, your rankings, your reviews, your author platform. And Sandra Beckwith, she's an author coach as well, and she says the tracking file alone is worth the cost of the program. And Suzanne Doyle Ingram, she says, I'm going to recommend this program to all of my clients.